Welcome to Yoga with Stephen. This video is part of our Yoga Pose series where we practice sequences of holding poses. Today we're going to practice 5 classic standing poses, and you can use this video to warm up your body. You can use it to stretch, strengthen and balance your body, mind and soul. And you can use it as a foundation for your yoga practice. Iyengar, the famous yoga master, said that standing poses are the foundation for all yoga poses, and I agree with him. And one of the reasons for this is that standing poses dynamically activate the body, the legs, and warm up the body, preparing it for sequences of deeper stretches, perhaps in seated position. So for this reason, I always start my sequence of held poses with standing poses. So let's begin our sequence of 5 classic standing poses with warrior pose. So first of all, we're going to widen our feet and stretch our arms. And then we're going to turn the right foot 90 degrees. The back heel is going to go back a little bit. They say 15 degrees, and we're going to start to bend that right leg, sinking into a lovely thigh stretch. At the same time, we're trying to keep our body straight, our chest open. Now in warrior position, you want to keep your shin vertical at all times and get your extra thigh stretch by bending the knee more. Ultimately, you're aiming for heading towards 90 degrees in that bent knee. As you sink into the pose, keep that chest nice and open. Keep those arms, keep the chest open. Down we go. And finally, you turn your head, looking down. Engage the back muscles. And then we're going to come out of that pose. So let's come out of it. And we're going to turn. I'm keeping my feet wide. You can bring them in if you like. And we're going to turn to the other direction. So we always balance what we do on one side, we balance it on the other side. So open those arms again. Part of warrior pose is you're practicing opening the chest. So feel that lovely chest opening and then start to bend that knee, getting into that deep stretch. And you'll find that what tends to happen is you tend to bend the back leg too. So work on trying to keep that back leg straight. Slowly walking that foot forward, deepening the thigh stretch. Keeping that chest open, keeping those arms out, deepening that, and finally twisting the head, looking down the arms, keeping the body as vertical as you can while your legs are stretching out to the side, lifting that head as much as you can, opening the chest, and out we come, out of warrior pose. So there's your first classic pose. That is called warrior number 2. Okay, so the next pose we're going to do is tree position. So for tree position, you are standing on one leg. So bring your foot onto your leg. Now, just to get the practice of standing on one leg, you may have your foot at the bottom. If you can do it, you may get your foot up to the knee. If you've got bendy knees, half lotus knees, you may be able to get your foot into that position. The key thing about tree position is that we're practicing one-legged balance, and in so doing we're stretching the knee that's bent and we're strengthening the standing leg. It's a form of weight-bearing exercise. Then you bring your hands together, showing that you're balancing without your hands, and then you increase the stretch by lifting your hands up in the air. If you wrap your hands around each other, you can get a longer stretch in the shoulders. Try to pull that arm back, stretch that knee out. If you like, you can suck your tummy and it adds to the vitality of the feeling. And we're going to come out of that pose. So in classic yoga, you do a pose, you go into it, you come out of it. This means that you maintain your energy levels and don't become tired. So you can actually go for longer, really. So we're going to go on to the other side. Remember, whatever foot position's right for you. Could even be right at the bottom. If that's your knee and leg stretch, could be on the knee. You might have it like at the top of the thigh, or you might even get it right in. Again, that's what I call half lotus leg elasticity. Oh, keep that chest nice and open. Get your balance. You notice that I'm looking at the floor. So that is the classic way to keep your balance. Stare at the floor, maybe 3 meters ahead of you. They say imagine a golden cord traveling from between your two eyes to a point on the floor, about 3 meters ahead. And this helps to stabilize the body. Now what we're doing in tree position, of course, is we're practicing focus, because you have to focus to stay in position. So that's the beauty of this pose. It's developing concentration, gathering all your energy together. And there we go. When you've had enough of standing on one leg, out we come. So a lovely balance to that is two-legged forward bend, which we're going to do. Perhaps I'll go slightly sideways just to give you a better view of what's going on. So for this, you're going to breathe in and stretch up. And then you're going to stretch down. Just pull that shirt down. We're going to stretch down. So the first position of two-legged forward bend is dangly. So the feeling that we're going with here is straight legs. In other words, somewhat strong legs, but soft upper body. So your head is dangling, your arms are loose and dangly, your shoulders are loose. You're dangling loose, you're hanging loose. And this is the feeling that we try to cultivate. So you're blending the strength of your fronts of your legs, keeping it straight, with the softness of your upper body. And as you relax into it, you slowly sink down. Now, in this position, you may find that your hands get to the floor, or maybe you get your knuckles on the floor. But you might find that you're way up here, or you're way up here. Now, we don't want to be too long with the body forward and not engaged. So it's better to try to get the body down. So there's various ways of getting the body down. So one is to widen the legs. If you widen the legs, it's easier for the body to sink lower. And then you get the benefit of the pressure of gravity keeping your body down. And then you can relax your muscles, letting gravity do the work. Another option that you've got is a slight bend in the knees. Gets the body a bit lower. Again, then you've got the benefit of the centre of your gravity going lower, the force of gravity working on your body, and then you work on straightening the legs in position with a lower body. So if you've got your head down and it's relaxed, the other thing about this pose is that your upper body is now dangling. It's actually a form of traction. You're lengthening your spine, and this is very relaxing for the neck and the shoulders and the head. Plus it's a body inversion as well. So if your hands are comfortably on the floor, the next thing would be classically to bring them behind the legs, and this enables you to increase your stretch in towards the knees. And then we're going to slowly come out of the posture, feeling the blood flowing back out of your head from your head inversion. Now we have to be a little careful with inverted poses. It's not really recommended if you've got high blood pressure, and if they make you dizzy, probably not a good idea. So listen to what your body tells you. It's meant to feel good. It should feel good on your nervous system, relaxing, refreshing. So if you're finding it makes you feel weird, uncomfortable, uneasy, it's probably not doing you any good, and try to work out what the cause of that is. So obviously the thing with yoga is you do what works for your body, and everyone's body's different. So we're now going to do an opposite to that, which would be classic dancer pose position. So this is a slightly more ambitious balance than the tree pose, with a back bend element. So we start with a lovely thigh stretch, lifting that arm in the air, and then we're slowly leaning forwards into the dancer pose, beginning to lift that leg behind you, trying to keep the standing leg as straight as you can. It might bend a bit, don't worry obviously, but with the direction is to straighten it as much as you can and whilst trying to keep your balance and lift, getting a bit of a back bend. It's a half bow position. You're pushing your foot behind you, creating more of a back bend. And then we're going to come out of that. And we're going to change to the other side. So you notice everything we do on both sides to balance, stretch and strengthen both sides and create greater balance within the structure of the body and the mind. And we're coming forward again, straight into dancer position. And the feeling of the leg is straight and the feeling of the body and the arm is curved. Think of a semicircle resting on a straight line. A candle in a baptismal font, for example. You might think of that. Get your nice stretch going. Hold that position as long as you're comfortable. And out we come. There we have it. Dancer pose. So you practice it as far as your body's capacity. With repetition, it'll tend to improve. So now, having done that pose, it's quite nice just to give the neck a little bit of a stretch. So bring that head forward, feeling the back of your neck. Stretching, lift your head up. Rotate the head to the right side. And bring it forward. Rotate your head to the left side. I am blessed by a wonderful view, I must say. So it's very easy to turn my head in these circumstances. Bring your head down again. And keeping it down, let's bring that chin to the left side, feeling the right side of the neck stretching at the back. Keeping it forward, we're going to bring it to the left side, feeling the left side of the neck stretching at the back. And down we go again. And we're going to come up. That just stretches off the neck. Sometimes dancer pose, your head's up. It can tighten those back neck muscles, which tend to be the most tight muscles. So now we're on to the fifth pose already. So the fifth pose is triangle pose. So let's do that pose. So open those feet nice and wide. Turn the right foot 90 degrees like we did with Warrior. Back heel back a little bit like with Warrior, but this time that front leg is staying straight. Whoops. So slowly bring that hand down the leg. You can practice it with a relaxed arm if that makes it easier for you. But the classic pose is with a lifted arm. Well, that's one of the classic poses. So once your hand travels, now your hand is resting on your leg. That's called a supported pose, and it helps when it's resting on something to relax the muscles. If you're holding the legs with your muscles, it's harder to stretch. If that arm is taking the weight, if the hand is taking the weight, it's easy to stretch. So once if that hand gets to the bottom, then you generally put it behind the body. That's to emphasize the opening of the body. And clearly in this pose, we've got a twist going on, particularly in the upper arm. So we've got the opening of the body that way, and we've got the stretching of the leg and the squeezing of the... And finally, you look upwards towards the hand in the air. That is your classic triangle pose, a one-legged stretch with a twist. And up we come after a reasonable amount of time. How long should you stay in a pose? Well, you stay in it really till you've done the maximum stretch, I would say, and then you listen to your body. 20 seconds is a good sort of minimum time, one might say. You can stay in for minutes. Depends on the type of yoga you're doing as well. So we're doing hatha yoga here, which is individual poses with pauses in between. So that left hand's going down there. I've left this arm where it is, just so I can focus on the leg. Now I'm lifting the arm up. I've actually got the sun shining straight in my face here. So if I squint, that's why I'm squinting. Get that hand on the floor. Once it's on the floor, you see how easy it is for me to stretch that leg. Now, you may not be, you may be up here. It doesn't matter. Slowly work on it, bring it down, place it behind. And then you've got several things you're working on: the stretching of the leg, opening of the body, increasing that stretch, looking upwards. My twist this side isn't as good as my other side, if I'm honest. And then when you've had enough of that, we're going to come out of that. So there we go. So there we have 5 classic standing poses. So shall we just finish our lovely sequence with standing position? Just for a moment, feel your feet sinking down into the ground. Feel your head lifting up into the sky. Breathe up through the centre of your body through the legs, breathing down, follow the flow of your arms downwards. Breathing in, lift yourself up. Breathing out, let yourself go. And that is the end of our 5 classic standing poses. Have a wonderful day.